Hey, Josh, first foremost, tell us exactly what you do.
Well, I'm the regional manager for XTC Cabaret Dallas, Onyx Dallas, and Black Orchid Dallas.
Y'all hear that? Hey, finna get to it.
One more time. Can you just say it one more time?
I am regional manager for XTC Cabaret Dallas, Onyx Dallas, and Black Orchid Dallas.
That means a lot out here, man. So first of all, how did you get started in the business?
I was working as a bouncer at a nightclub downtown Austin, Texas, off 6th Street. I was friends with a waitress from high school. She was waitressing at a Perfect 10 men's club. I think it's called Penthouse back then in Austin. She asked me if I needed a side job, so I took the gig, basically just being a bar back, did a little bit of bartending over there, and that's how I got started.
How long you been in the business?
I've been doing it about 10 years now.
10 years. Okay. I want to know, how do you feel about strip club beef in Dallas?
I think it's the dumbest fucking shit I ever heard of. If that's what you got in your life, to pay attention to these stupid Instagram videos and all this stupid shit people are talking, you need to find another hobby. I understand that they're hyping themselves up, that they're trying to make some names for themselves, but I got people tagging me in these dumb Instagram posts all the time trying to get me involved. And the way I see it is, man, like, we're not even in that lane, you know? Like, we're focusing on, like, making real money. And honestly, for my club, what I want to put forward with all of them is I want to put the best presentation forward. I want to fight it, like, the battle of, you know, the dollars that are being spent, as far as we're going to have the best product. We're going to put on the best show. Not we're going to talk the most shit, you know? We're going to back it up with numbers. And that's what we do, you know?
I hope they heard they said back it up with numbers. What other city have you worked in?
I've worked in, so I started out in Austin. I worked in San Antonio for a little bit. I've worked in Houston and now Dallas. I even went out to Abilene for a few weeks to work at a club out there.
So you've covered up basically the whole state of Texas.
Yeah, the big markets at least.
Which one would you say has a better market?
I would say overall, mostly because Houston has a great market, but the laws in that city, the city itself has really fucked up the business down there. They're real strict. They went back and forth of whether the girls could be naked or topless. They had to wear pasties for a while. They had to wear full bottoms for a while. They do a bunch of raids down there. A bunch of people go to jail. They'll come in and raid the club, take everyone to jail, the managers, the dancers, the DJ. So that kind of fucked up a lot of business down there. I feel like Dallas is the best market overall.
Okay. And for what reasons do you feel like Dallas is the best market?
Well, it's a big market. There's a lot of money here, a lot of legit money here too. And we don't have the kind of issues we have with the government that they have down in Houston with the local city. Dallas saw what Houston did. And basically all these conventions, all these big events that come to town, when they started cracking down on the strip clubs, a lot of these big events that got scheduled down in Houston stopped doing it.
As far as local artists, who do you see being requested by the dancers? You know, everybody's saying they're hot, but who really do you see being requested?
Local?
Yeah.
As far as strip club artists, pretty much two people, Bocane and DeRoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Dallas, the strip club scene has been, I would say, growing. What do you think is the reason for that? For the demand of, you know, more strip clubs. It seems like the regular clubs are starting to phase out, you know.
Well, one thing is I think it's more acceptable now, you know. Yeah. You go back a while ago, it used to be like kind of like single dudes, older guys, stuff like that going to strip clubs. Then now it sounds like every artist that's coming out, like it's almost like their label's telling them, you better make a song about it. You got to make a booty shaking song. You got to make a strip club song. You got to focus on that, because that's what gets the music played. That's what gets a lot of music hot nowadays. Because of that, like I guess 50% of my clientele, especially on the weekends, are women. You know, that's another whole demographic that wasn't being hit before. They didn't feel comfortable going to a strip club. Wasn't really a place for them. They didn't see it as kind of a, seedy, like underground places before. Now it's much more mainstream. I feel like what we're seeing right now in strip clubs is just a merging of the club traditional nightclubs and strip clubs. They're almost nightclubs with naked go-go dancers now in a way.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of the clientele then kind of changed up over the years. As far as back to the music, what you were saying about a lot of artists, what are some of the artists, the main artists that you see bring a lot of attention to these strip clubs?
I feel like all these artists try. The ones that I feel like Future is a lot of strip club music. We play him all the time. We play almost his whole album. Yo Gotti. I mean, Drake's shouting out strip clubs in his music. Jeezy. All these guys, So.
What about local artists around the city?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Like mostly in my clubs, we'll play a few local artists, but it's kind of hard to get your foot in the door with us. We want to play stuff that's already hot. We're not really interested in it's nothing in it for us to make you hot or play your stuff unless you're spending real money in there. You spend some money in there, then you will kind of play your stuff a little bit. But a lot of guys want to come in there, ask us to play a CD, something we've never heard, and slip a 20 through the window. That's not going to get it done. We have to know you. We have to hear your stuff, and more importantly, we have to get a dancer that's going to ask for it. Last thing we want to do is put a song on stage that a dancer hates, and then we're going to kill the vibe in the whole club. It doesn't matter if the song is hot if the dancer don't like it, because she's the one performing to your song.
What's the most you seen someone spend in a strip club?
Now I've seen someone spend 30 grand, credit card money. You know what I mean, like dance dollars, stuff like that. The most I've seen someone throw probably about 25,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet they filled up the whole.
Oh yeah.
25,000 is one.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah, that's a lot of money to be seen throwing. That's a car, When Drake came in there, he spent 10. That's a lot of money, He's actually the artist that came in that spent the most.
Do you think women can make a career out of dancing?
They can make a career out of dancing if they do something with their money. That dancing career, I mean, you have a timetable on it. Like after a certain age, and it's different for every woman. Everybody ages differently, but it's after a certain point, it starts getting sad. And it's not like they're.
Hey, real life street star.
Yeah. And it's not like their money just starts, it just drops off one day. It's a steady decline. They're going to hit their peak, and then they're going to go down. So they need to get their money. I've seen the dancers take their money. I've seen a smart dancer, good-looking girl. She lived real humbly. Drove like a basic, like a nice car, a new one, but nothing like fancy. Just an everyday vehicle. Made her money, can work all the time. And she owns like an apartment complex now. She has a house in Dominican Republic, has a living maid. Now she did her money right. Then I see all these dancers that started, when I started, that were dancing, that were top of their game. And now we won't even let them work in our clubs because they're too old, they're too fat, whatever's going on with them. And they don't have nothing to show for it all those years of work.
What's the oldest you seen a dancer? Like the oldest dancer?
Man, I went to this club in New Orleans, man. I think this chick was 65, man.
Wow.
Gray hair.
Wow.
I think that's the oldest woman I've ever seen naked in real life.
Wow. 65. Okay, in this day and age, there's a lot of ass injections and fake titties and all that. What do you feel anything about a dancer who it's not all the way natural? Does that even matter, or what's your take on that?
It's a few things with that. I don't care. Like, it doesn't really matter to me what they do with themselves. I would advise against ass injections by anything or any kind of medical procedure, anybody but a medical professional. I've seen a lot of bad things happen. Girls end up in hospitals. I've heard about girls dying. I know a couple girls that got sick. I knew a girl that, basically she spent 2 months in the hospital because of ass injections that got infected or whatever. As far as plastic surgery, that's always been a part of the entertainment business, strip clubs. movies, everything. I mean, anything out there, you know, from actors, celebrities, models, strippers, they're all gonna have a lot of work done, and that's standard, you know. But as far as doing anything, I don't feel like it's worth it. And I feel like honestly, these girls that overdo it, it's gonna be like, you know, you see these ladies that are dancers like in the 80s and shit that are 50 now, and they got these huge ass tits that just look comical on them now. You know, I think it's a phase that eventually, you know, 10, 20 years down the road, we're gonna see these girls walking around with these huge asses. They look like, to me, when you overdo it, they look like ants standing up, like the big ass thorax shit sitting out there. And so we're going to be looking at these girls like they're going to be a living joke at some point if they overdo it. I mean, it's a fine line between what looks good, and I will say some of it does look good, and what is overdoing it.
Real talk. Being that you're in the club all the time, how do you not, you know, mix business with pleasure?
Well, what are you talking about? Actually having fun in club or fucking with the girls? That's two different things.
Fucking with the girls.
Okay. I think everybody who's been in strip club long enough has learned that lesson, you know? Like, I mean, everybody who's been in the business has dated someone they worked with. And it's not just because, you know, they want to get with the strippers, because you work these late night hours. You're limited to people that work those hours. You know, you're not meeting people that work everyday jobs most of the time, or at least if they do. And I've had girlfriends outside the business, it always becomes an issue. Either they don't want you working there, or you never get to see them because you're working all night while they're sleeping, and they're working all day while you're sleeping, you know. So you get stuck dating people that work in the industry.
Okay. Being that there are probably thousands of dancers, you have a couple of dancers that may be into, I want to say, they want to, you know, have other ways of trying to make money outside of dancing. Does that help the business, or would you say that would hurt is that hurting the strip club business?
Anything that goes on in the club, if they're trying to do something in the club illegal, I mean, that's going to hurt the business for the other girls that don't want to do it. And overall, long term, it's really going to fuck things up. It's going to bring a lot of negative attention. A lot of people don't care what's going on until enough of that starts going on. And then you got law enforcement in there, you got investigations opening up, and I mean, that's the way XTC came into existence. The club before it was running a lot of money, and then they got busted with 64 prostitution cases. I mean, the city went in there, didn't matter how much money they had to throw at the problem. That shut them down, you know. Outside the club, I mean, that's going to happen. As long as it's not being advertised inside the club, then, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. And honestly, you know, we don't even know about 99% of it, you know.
What celebrities have you met doing this?
Drake, Jeezy, Michael Vick, Adrian Peterson, most of the Dallas Cowboys, most of the Dallas Mavericks, Method Man, J. Cole, Kevin Hart. Man, he's been coming into the clubs I've been at for years, you know. A lot of Danny Trejo. He always plays that Mexican gangster in those movies. Yeah. So a lot of people, man. A lot of celebrities come through. G-Eazy, a lot of folks.
How important is the DJ role in the strip club?
I actually feel like it's grown in importance over the years. Used to be the main thing I looked into DJ was a guy that could show up to work, not get fucked up, get along with the girls, and run the stages right. And for the most part, it's been like that for a long time. Now, I feel like we demand more and more in these DJs as far as driving the crowd, educating them on spending money, conditioning the crowd to spending money. You know, they got to be a lot more involved. Where before, just kind of announcing some names and making a few jokes and putting on another song. Now, I feel like a good DJ, especially if they're going to drive money in a club, needs to get involved with the crowd. And it's a fine line, because if they get too involved with the crowd, the show's not about them. It's still about the girls. They overdo it. They start annoying people. I think everyone's been in a club with an annoying strip club DJ, you know. I mean, there's nothing worse than that. So it's a fine line of what's going to push the money and what's going to drive it away.
What is the biggest lesson you have learned being in this game for over 10 years?
Well, Two lessons. One personal, and one kind of about the business in general, and that applies to everything. Personally, I don't feel like it's about. I've had a lot of people on my way up. I started out bar back in bartending. I was a bouncer for years. I worked the door. I've DJ'd. I've done everything. I was a manager. I've been a manager, and I've got demoted, and I worked my way back up again. And the thing is you'll see people that get promoted above you. You see people that rise faster than you. But the thing about it that can be a curse. I've seen a lot of guys that happen to, and they got promoted up because they had the look or the talk or whatever, but they didn't learn the lessons. They got cut back down. Me, my personal thing was I'm always just going to outwork you. I'm going to let my work speak for it myself. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to bullshit. I'm just going to work harder than you. And that's it, you know. That you gain a lot of loyalty and a lot of respect with a lot of people doing it that way. So, and the second thing I want to say is, as far as I feel like keeping your club successful, and there's no guarantees in success. The market changes. I mean, anything can change, you know. But I feel like you never take it for granted. You never own your market. You know, all these people coming in, you don't own them. You need to be grateful that they're there. The second you get arrogant, thinking that you own what's going on, that you're the star, you're doing it better than anybody else, is when it passes you by. You have to always reinvent yourself. Look around at what you're not doing as good as the next guy, and do it better.
Is there any advice that you would like to give anybody who would like to partake in the industry of the entertainment?
As far as women getting in there, you just need to look good. You need to have, present yourself in a good way and get in. And basically, I mean, it's not that hard to get in as a dancer. As a man getting into this business, a lot of it's being in the right place in the right time, but really it's being in the right place all the time. You need to be there. You need to make yourself known, and you need to be serious about it. You need to keep knocking on. I mean, there's plenty of guys that I had no intention of hiring that just kept beating down my door all the time. And eventually I got sick of their shit and I gave them a chance at their job. Some of them have done great things and some of them disappointed me. But that's the thing, is be present, show up, and come there and be serious, and let the people above you know that you want that opportunity.
Already, man. You're definitely a street star, man. Shout out to Josh one time. Real life street stars.